Hello everyone, this is Akash Chauhan and in today's lecture we will discuss about the array in C++. So without any further ado, let's start. So first let's understand what is array, how to write an array, how to declare, how to initialize an array, okay, in C++. Then we will move on to some basic examples of arrays so that we can understand the various dimensions of array like one dimension or multi-dimensional array. Okay, so let's start. So you just need to focus on the points I'm going to discuss one by one. So guys, array in C++, we you just need to focus on the points I'm going to discuss one by one. The first point is saying the group of similar type of elements. Array is group of similar types of element, and the second point is has contiguous memory location. Okay, so if you work around with array, you must be aware about that the array has similar type of element, similar data type. You understand? 10 is integer type, 5 is also integer type, 7 is also, and 8 also, all are integer type element. Okay, that's why the first point is group of similar type of elements. And the second point is it has contiguous memory location. It means wherever they are storing in the memory, the next element, this 5 element, would always be next to the 10, and the 7 would always be next to the 5, because for the array, the a whole bunch of or a block of memory will be provided according to the size. So the element would be adjacent to each other in the memory. So you must be aware about this. These 2 points are very important. If you are working with the array, you must be aware about these two things. Let's discuss about the advantages and the disadvantages of using array. Let's discuss first the advantage. The very first one is easy to access similar type of data, as we have discussed just discussed above. Easy to traverse, definitely. If I know the index of this, the first element, then I can add up in the index and I can traverse all the elements. Second point is, or third point is easy to manipulate. If I want to change this 7 at this particular index, then it is very easy to do that. Sorting is also easy. If I use some bubble sort or any merge sort, quick sort, anything over the array, then I can usually short it. Random access is also possible, like if I provide any index in the valid index in the array, it will give me the output as an element of the array. Disadvantage is only one disadvantage. The main disadvantage is we need to give the size during the declaration of the your array. So if you want to change in future, then you have to create a new array. In C++, you cannot extend the array size. So that is the issue with that. So array is fixed size and you need to give that size during the declaration. That is also one of the important points. This is a brief about the array, the single dimensional array and the multi-dimensional array. I will discuss in detail, but just to know how to write single dimensional array and multi-dimensional array. So single dimensional array, you just provide the size and you can provide the element like this. This in using these brackets, you can provide the elements of the array. Again, in the multi-dimensional, if it is a 2 cross 2, means it's a 2 rows and two columns. Okay, so you provide first row data over here and the second row data over here. How many rows we have? 2 rows. So 0 1 would be the first row data. Okay, it would be the first column, second column data, first column, second column data. So how to write a program for that? Simply, as I mentioned over here, we can provide the value to the array like this, and in that we have provided like that. Okay, okay, one inverted, this is missing, you have to add one more. Okay, one more bracket is needed. Okay, because this is first row data, this is second row, and this would be equal to closing bracket of this. Okay, then the semicolon. So by using loop, we are going from 0 to 2. Okay, less than 3 means 2, 0 1 2 means 3 times, so it will print 0 1, sorry, 1 2 3. Okay, that is what we are printing. with each line. So the output of this program would be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here we have the data in matrix 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, what we are doing here, you are this is you are printing as a string, then the value, and then the closing, then the j. Okay, so what you are doing over here, you must pay. So the output of this program would be a, first one would be 0, 0, and then you are printing the value after this colon. Okay, so the value would be 0, and then what you are doing, start from the next line, 0, 1. Okay, and so on. So this is how we handle single dimensional and the multi-dimensional array. Let's focus on the other aspects and the other concepts as well, like how to declare array, how to initialize array, how to access array elements. So the first thing is the declaration of the array. So the declaration, during the declaration of the array, you need to give the data type or the type of elements. You need to decide the type of elements that you are going to use, and you also need to give the size, okay, of the elements or the number of elements you are going to use. So during the declaration, these two conditions should be, fulfilled. Okay, so the type of the element could be integer, character, float, or the size or the number of elements could be 1 to 5, or the size of the array. So this is how we declare. This is the actual declaration in the program. So this is not the initialization. Okay, this is the declaration of the objects. We have not decided the elements, or we have not initialized the element for like it is a 4 element array. Then we initialization phase would be when we have also decided the number of not just the number of elements or the size of the elements or the type of element, but also the elements itself. So this is just the declaration. If I add up the elements over 4 index, then it would also be completed, or we will say it's an initialized array. So till this point it is just a declared array. Okay, that is why I have written declaration. Okay, let's focus on the next part. Next part is the initialization of the array. The initialization of the array, you are initializing the array elements. So there are two ways to initialize the array element. The first method is one by one, and the second method is if you write element in the parenthesis like this in one statement or in one go. But in that case, in one by one, you this is the declaration. You are initializing 0 index element, then 1, and then 2. This is the initialization phase one by one. But in a single statement or in one go, you can also provide the same data 0 to 1 like this in these parentheses. Okay, but you must be aware about one thing, that an element would be here and the k size is here. So this could be larger, but the number of elements cannot exceed over this the size of the array. Okay, this one thing you should always be aware. The default, let's say if you have declared 0 as a 0, this second index is 1, and you have not decided this value yet, and you are going to print the data, then how it will behave? The default integer value is 0, but it also depends on, is it a local array or the global. We will discuss about it, but the default integer value is 0. Let's focus on the other thing, other part, accessing array element. It is super easy. Accessing is, if you want to access directly an element, so you just need to provide the index of the array. So for example, you want to access the 10th element, then we just need to provide the index would be 9. Why? Because the index starts from 0. So if this is the array and if I want to access this element, so I just need to pass the 2 as index, and it will return me 2 as a output. Okay, so there is another way to access the array elements, loop access. Loop access, in that you, as I have declared and initialize the array over here, and this is the for loop. I'm going to print the data values like 1, 2, 3 over here. So um there is a question for you guys to answer. If I just declared without initializing the array, and if I want to print the value, then what would be the output? Okay, so the output is generally the two ways: 0 0 0, or the garbage values. But why there are two values? Okay, the first one is in case of it, if you have declared it somewhere here, the global variable as a global variable, and if you have declared this as a what to say, as a local variable, right? Uh, okay, let's discuss another one. It is the multi-dimensional array. So in multi-dimensional array, this is the way you need to give the first row element, second row element. In this case, it is a two row, two column set. So this is how to initialize the multi-dimensional array in case of 2 2. So you provide the first row and the second row in, because we have two rows and two columns. So in single dimensional, you just need to go to the linear way, but in that case, you go this way, right? If you remember this. So these are the matrix form. The second way is you just simply declared values like this. Sorry, initialize values like this. So it would work fine. The third way is to provide values in the form of array. Sorry, in the form of loops. So we are using two loops, and we are giving the count value and storing the count value into the array. Let's say a count is a global variable, and we have started from 0. Okay, so in that case, it is saying the 0 value would be assigned to this, and we are printing over here. Okay, it will run once again, because it is running for 1, and then the second one is 2. So the second value would be 0, and the second would be 1, and for the next row it will come from here 2 and 3, because we are increasing the counter. Okay, so okay, so guys, this is for today's class. This is about the arrays. Okay, so let's discuss the pointers in the next lecture. So thank you so much, guys.